Welcome to another video of the renovation of our narrowboat. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So the first thing we're going to do today is have a bit of a clean up and tidy up and try and get things straight. We've pretty much finished, we hope we finished the demolition. Hopefully nothing too much more is going to be pulled apart. The kitchen's half gone, the bathroom's completely gone, the stairs at the back have gone, the carpet's gone, so I think that's it. So yeah, clean up and then the long process of putting everything back together.
I think that's it. Good.
So we've been through, tidied up the boat, hoovered up all the dust and sawdust and carpet dust and dust from the last 20 years that's still here. And I thought I'd just do a quick run through because the plans have shifted since we did the first run through. And so I can tell you what's changed and also show you the progress so far. So starting at the back, as you can see, the stairs are completely gone. I'm pretty sure we weren't planning to do this. We've always hated the curved stairs. We would have preferred stairs that come straight down, even if it's a steep angle. But we just lived with them. But it also meant, because they curved down here, this was kind of lost space. And yes, we did have some storage under there, but it was so awkward to get to. I mean, we always knew that this was a possibility, but we decided that if we removed the stairs, we could get one of the slim 40cm washing machines in this space, and then just have stairs that went straight down. So I think we would have just left them as they were if it hadn't been for the washing machine. But yeah, the washing machine, after living without one for 5 years nearly, we want the washing machine. We need to design them, and there's issues because this cupboard has a door, but then it's just open space because that was just blocked in before down here. So we'll have to do something with that. And behind there is the hot water tank and everything. So that will need looking at. There's boxing on the swim most of the way back. So the washing machine will either go down there or we'll sit it on a platform above the swim. And the other thing I should mention in the bedroom is that because we're putting in the washing machine, we're going to change our inverter. I think it's a 350 watt or a 300 inverter at the moment, but obviously for the washing machine we're going to need more power, so we've ordered a 1200. So we'll either have two inverters and we'll switch between them, but more likely we'll get rid of the 300 watts inverter. And then, yeah, there's a few other electrical bits that we need to do. In the bathroom, that's where the biggest changes are. Obviously no ceiling, no bath, no sink, everything's come out. So we need to completely redo that. We did find a little bit of water underneath the bilge here. So we are running a dehumidifier to try and soak that all up. So drying this area out. It was annoying that we found the water there, but really it's better to know it is there than be in denial about it or kind of not know that there's a problem. And it also prompted us, and we probably would have done this anyway, to drill other inspection holes, and luckily every other one we drilled was dry, so peace of mind there. Okay, in the kitchen it also looks quite drastic. The tiles have come off this wall. This was the only wall that was tiled, and the oven has come out and the hob has come off. We've still got them on the towpath outside, but we are thinking of getting new ones. So we haven't quite got rid of them yet, but we probably will. And yeah, so things we're talking about here are, we've got the pressurizing pump down there and the pump for the bath down there. The pump for the bath will probably stay there. We'll probably sink it into the floor a bit, but we're considering putting the pressurizing pump at the front of the boat underneath the bow, along with the accumulator. So we just need to work that out. And then yeah, new worktop, hopefully a new oven, hob and fridge, yet to be determined. We need to pick some tiles and a new floor. I think, oh, and a new blind, but I think that's mainly everything we're doing in here. Dinette, we are not changing, but at the moment it is a tool station, a battery charging station, and a light station. And at the front of the boat, again, nothing too much is changing. Probably going to retile around the fireplace, and we are also thinking about whether to change the corner unit, because it was built for a TV. We don't have a TV, so, and it's not very practical for storage, so we're thinking of changing that as well. So this area, which has currently got a toolbox on it, is Michael's desk area, and we are going to build him a new desk with an upright at the back, so we can attach some monitors, because he's been working just on his laptop for the past 5 years, which isn't good for your eyes, so I desperately need to sort that out. So that's what's happening in here, and new flooring, obviously. We took the carpet up, as you can see. It was just glued down, and we're at the moment trying to find the best flooring. We want hardwood flooring or laminate flooring. The boxing in for the electrics and the radiator pipes under here, it's really huge, so we're going to potentially see if we can make that smaller rather than just keep it, but that's still to be decided. On the roof, this whole central panel is probably going to change. We want to take the speakers out. There's a radio on the TV unit, but we never use it, so having the speakers there is just annoying. And the lights, I mean, we mentioned before how dark it is in here, so we're going to change the light fittings and potentially put more in. The other thing we need to make a decision about at some point is the wood. And we're probably going to change it in some way. Our main reason for wanting to change it is because in winter especially, the boat feels so dark inside. We really want to freshen it up. It just looks so old and so orange, and it's not our taste. And yes, it's nice-ish oak tongue and groove, but if we don't like it, why do we have it in our home? There's been really mixed opinions in the comments about this. A lot of people have said just paint it, it'll really change the boat for the better. People telling us that they did it with their boat and they're so glad they did. And then a few people saying, don't paint the wood, you'll devalue the boat. And maybe we will, but maybe we won't. And also, we're not too worried, because this isn't like an investment boat. We're not doing it up to sell it, although we might end up selling it. This is our home, so the most important thing is for us to have an environment that we are, not just that we like, but that we're comfortable in, because the dark wood really affects Michael, especially in winter, with the seasonal affective disorder. So it's just a no-brainer really. We have to change it. We have to have more light in here in winter. We could be living on this boat for another 4 years. We could be selling it, but if we've got another 4 winters at least in here, we've got to change this. So the options are, we did think about bleaching it, but that is a lot of messy work. I think the ideal would be to whitewash it, so you've still got the wood grain showing through, but we're not sure how that would look. And obviously the flat bits we can sand, but these grooves won't sand so easy, so we need to find a way of getting the varnish off there so that when we do the whitewash, that it takes in the grooves. And then the other option is we could just paint it with a solid colour, solid, very light whitish colour. So yeah, there are current thoughts on the walls and the ceiling. But yeah, taking so much stuff out of the boat has been a little bit scary at times, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and it has to get worse before it can get better. When it's your home, yeah, and it's not livable at the moment, obviously. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have the other boat to live on. Yeah, that's really been a game changer. I don't know how people do renovations and live on the boat at the same time. Crazy. So yeah, very, very grateful to Andrew and Denise for lending us their boat. Yeah, and their workshop and the time. This tissue's not down because of a leak, it's down to see if there is going to be a leak.
The leak. Which we have not detectorated the leak, so we're not really sure where it came from. But we did have some water that made it down there into our inspection hatch area. But now we have, oh, there's still some water down there. But we know we have our inspection hatch cover. So now it's at least easily accessible. And yeah, we're going to put the dehumidifier in here to operate, try and get rid of that if we don't actually pump it out, because it's like quite a sheen of water down there.
I think we should try the dehumidifier.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we just came to plan the plumbing today, and now we're ripping out the boxing. Do you remember when we said we'd finished ripping stuff out?
I remember saying something like that. Well, no, I remember you saying something like that. I remember me feeling like maybe that was slightly off somehow, but yeah. Yeah, so when we go to install the flooring, it's going to have to go underneath the boxing in. This was carpeted, so the boxing in went straight flush with the floor. And we need to be able to access the plumbing for the radiators, because whatever we're doing back there will require us to access what's behind the radiators. So yeah, jobs just keep getting added to the list. No jobs get taken off the list. It's getting scary.
It's past scary.
Yeah, it's past scary. We don't intend to retain this wood trim anyway. We were, probably gonna paint it. Now we've got some pieces that are shattering because they've just gotten brittle over the years. We want to change the boxing in anyway, if we can.
If we can make it smaller.
Yeah, it would give us a little bit of extra space. It's always looked a little bit weird to begin with, the way that it was done. So, yeah, if we can slightly move the plumbing, get a little bit of extra space, maybe go to something that's a little taller.
Taller and narrower would work.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what's underneath.
So all I'm doing is basically looking for where the nails are and then prying them loose. And they can be hard to see.
So yesterday we put out the video where we replaced the bedboards, and there was really lots of lovely feedback and response in the comments. So it seems that people are enjoying these renovation videos.
More than we are.
But there's two kind of general themes in the comments. The first one was, why didn't you use slats? Slats would be a good solution. And the other one was, maybe you should put a source of heat underneath the bed and or a fan to assist with the moisture. So rather than reply to every comment, we thought we'd just answer it here.
Yeah, so, okay. So slats is an easy one. I get it. Lots of people like slats. Lots of people have had lots of success with slats, and there's lots of reasons why people are like, no, solid bed bad. And I'm all like, you ever gone through a set of slats in the middle of the night? I have had IKEA preformed plywood slat beds and the pine pre-made slat beds.
Solid slats.
Yeah. In multiple cities, in multiple countries, and every time they failed. Also, we have a kind of weird problem where our bed is at absolutely non-standard size. It doesn't match with any standard sizing whatsoever. And it also doesn't have kind of a single span to deal with. It has two spans, one of which goes over the section where the slide out portion mates with is the wrong term, but rides over. And so that piece needs to be solid. So you'd need to have something where the slats would kind of lift up and let that travel underneath.
Well, the slats could go between each other, but then it'd be solid anyway. So
yeah,
there'd be no airflow.
It would be solid in that little place where the fingers kind of happen.
Yeah.
So it does make sense, but when extended out, we have sort of two positions where we'd need to have slats. If we went with the sprung slats, they'd have to go over two different spans because we've got one short span and one long span, neither of which, again, remotely resembles any standard size. Plus, there's just, I'm a big guy, and I have a tendency to lie on my side and roll suddenly onto my other side. Part of the reason we have a memory foam mattress, because another thing people did was say, don't get memory foam. And it's like, well, we have memory foam because when I flip over on an air mattress, Joe, if she's ordered,
mattress.
Yeah, or a sprung mattress. More so on an air mattress, a sprung mattress, or God forbid a waterbed. If I do my rollover, Joe quite possibly makes exit velocity, right?
And it wakes me up anyway, even if it doesn't.
If she doesn't escape into the orbit of the planet.
And then the other reason is our batteries are under the bed and there's plumbing under the bed. And so we need something that's removable, and screw down slats wouldn't work. And if you don't screw them down, they move all over the place. So that's why we went for a solid bed.
Plus, our moisture problem is not nearly as bad as we made it sound.
Well, no, it's not bad at all.
It was the MDF that made the moisture bad.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the MDF, we had solid MDF, no holes in it. And the MDF had survived for a number of years before we got the boat.
But it wasn't a liveaboard, it was a leisure boat.
Then we're living aboard, and there's a layer of moisture on top, which did start to worry us. So we want ventilation. We didn't want to go the slats route, so we put holes in the MDF. It was at that point that we've essentially compromised the MDF, and now the MDF starts to weaken, and it does its thing. So it's a materials problem. The MDF is the problem, not the moisture in and of itself. So now the buffalo board, which is like sort of lacquer, or not lacquer, that's the wrong word, resin infused plywood should work just fine. That's why no slats. As for the second one, which was ventilation under, because there's a lot of question of extractor fans, and extractor fans are a good idea, and we are going to probably put extractor fans in at least the bathroom and the kitchen for pushing air out through the mushroom caps, which does aid in evacuating steam
when you're
that we're
cooking,
producing.
Yeah, like when you're cooking or showering.
Yeah. A lot of people came up with questions about ventilation, like just getting increased ventilation, and it's actually not the problem. Boats have very good sort of airflow. We take a steel boat and we drop it down into the water, and the steel takes on the heat of the water, right? So we have some level of insulation, but the bottom of the boat is the cold part. And so you've got this kind of heat sink, and that draws air in through the vents on the front and back of the boat at the doors. If you sit in front of them, you can feel the breeze coming in through them. There is quite a significant, airflow into the boat. Now, air from outside transits into the boat we start to heat it up, and it starts rising through convection, and it goes out through the mushroom caps, which if you are so inclined and you want to sit up there and look over the mushroom caps, you can watch steam coming out on really cold days and everything, or steam getting blown around by it. So convection does actually transfer through the boat, and we actually do have reasonably good ventilation. In the space under the bed, there are a couple of fairly large cutouts that allow airflow in there as well. So there is airflow in there. The problem becomes more the fact that there isn't kind of warm air being moved through there. So we'd have to have the fan blowing air around, which would help a little, but it would be the heating that would actually help the most, like having forced hot air. Now that gets you into the problem of batteries. We only have the two 110 amp hour lithium batteries as our leisure bank. We already have quite a few draws on those batteries. If we add in a heating source down there, we're going to be constantly drawing amps to power that, and that's just not really a great idea for us. I would like to have something in there that helps exchange the air out, and I've got a I can't remember what it's called. It's a hygrometer relay that Andrew, our friend who's lending us all sorts of tools and everything, he happened to have an extra one. And what it does once it's plugged in is it basically will switch on and off a fan if the relative humidity gets below a certain point, or above a certain point. Once I figure out what the Chinese says on the connections and can power it up, I will get that installed under the bed and have like a PC fan that will either blow in air under there and out. Like I'll put two fans so that they'll both turn on simultaneously.
Oh, so it's like a through flow.
Yeah, it'll just cause a the flow through of air, sucking air in on one side and pushing air out the other. If I can find some relatively large diameter PC fans, they'll be low draw and low actual loss. All of this is stuff that I'm thinking about all the time, as is the underfloor heating thing that I'm trying to figure out for the bathroom, which I probably won't do, but I'm like, actually, if I had, instead of setting up a radiator, if what I had was a contraflow capsule so that I could build where the water was coming in and then flowing back, and I could make that tube and seal it so that it could exhaust out properly, then I could take copper tubing, which I would run under the floor, fill that with some nice mineral oil, wrap the copper tubing through the contraflow heating coil, and then I would have underfloor heating without any water under the floor, and I'd be able to keep it nice and thin using copper tubing.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, so I have lots of ideas. I don't have the money to throw at these ideas, nor do I have the patience in her to deal with the fact that I might get it wrong.
And also, like, we're not used to doing these renovation videos. We're used to doing cruising videos, and they were such a formula in the end that we just knew what we were doing.
We don't know
with the renovation videos. We've only filmed a couple, but we're just in the habit of saying this is what we've done. We haven't said
this is what we're planning.
Well, no, we haven't said this is what we've done because of this wouldn't work, we didn't want to do that. So that's kind of what led to all the questions. It doesn't mean that we haven't thought about all those other options. It's just This is the conclusion we've come to. So, I mean, I don't know that we're going to get any better at it, because when you're filming the renovation videos, you're usually
in the middle of the renovation.
Yeah, and you just remember to grab a camera while you're doing everything else. So hopefully we'll get better at it, but that's just where we are at the moment. Yeah,
because like when it comes to the surfaces, like this wood behind us and what we're going to do with this wood, we've been putting about 6 months of thought into how to do it.
Yeah, and 4 years of thought of we want to do it.
Yeah.
And if we're going to live on the boat for another 4 years, we need to have it as our home, how we want it, how we like it, and not how some perceived value we might get back from it, because it's
not worth it. I mean, it's just, and plus, I have a feeling that if there's somebody who would cut 5,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds off the price of a boat so that they could keep oak paneling, there's somebody else who will give you 5,000 to 10,000 pounds to not have oak paneling.
Because they recognise the problem of it being dark. So
it is a problem.
Well, I mean, we're doing this renovation to get the best possible boat for us. So if we sell it, it'll be the best possible boat for someone else. Like,
who is trying to live the same sort of life.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to turn it into a boat for constant cruising. I mean, one of the things we've noticed over the years is that like there really is niches, right? There's people who are occasional boaters, and they have one set of needs, and that set of needs applies to the battery, the toilet, the surfaces of the walls. You know, this is something you're doing as a once a season vacation on a
in the summer when it's light.
Yeah, when you've got a timeshare boat or something like that. That's an extremely valid set of problems, and it's got a set of solutions. And then you've got people who are living aboard for a significant portion of the year, but they don't do the winters. That's a different problem. And if you're living aboard in a marina and you've got shoreline plug-in versus your constant cruising, or your
batteries,
or you're not constant cruising like we did, where you moved continuously, but you're doing something more where you know
2 weeks
2 weeks here or there, or you're doing sort of a back and forth trying to maintain like access to work or whatever. That is an entirely different set of problems with an entirely different set of solutions.
So we're making our home basically, and we're doing it to the best quality and the best standard that we can.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, yesterday Michael went off to collect our bath with Andrew because it had arrived. I haven't seen it yet. That's quite exciting that we might have a bath back.
It's a small little wee bear.
He was gone for hours, and he came back very excited to show me the.
I've been pushed out of the way.
He came back very excited. It's sticky.
Yes.
To show me
the silicone. These are
what he'd been doing, and these are the inspection hole covers for our inspection holes that were cut last week.
Yeah, which are now the Liverpool Boats Canal Inspection Hatch. Official.
Not official.
Well,
bootleg.
But it's semi-official. Yeah, Andrew's got a laser cutter, and yeah, so he's kind of done some funny things for us to sort of show them off. Like he came to us with the official minimalist coasters.
Yeah.
In official minimalist blue.
And then told us off because we weren't using them.
Well, because we haven't been using them, but also we don't do a lot of hot drinks and need a lot of coasters.
This one's stuck.
Yeah, well, we can do it.
This one didn't pass Q&A.
Yeah, there is some Q&A issue.
Not Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A. No, not Q&A.
Quality.
Yeah, QA. Quality
QA.
assurance.
Yeah.
Not Andy.
So this one's got a little coaster holder.
Yeah. So these are a prototype of an idea. And Andrew was like, this is an idea. And we were all like, that is a cool idea. And I know something of laser printers. Sorry, not laser printers. I know something of laser cutters and vinyl cutters and things like that from far too many years of putting barcodes on things. But I wasn't sure exactly what they could accomplish. So I'm kind of glad that we got these things,
I think they should have said perseverance or minimalist.
I was thinking about different ones. We just went with a joke version because at the end of the day, they're going to sit into a place and never be opened.
Yeah, no one's ever going to see them.
Yeah. They were just like, that's kind of fun. Let's because I wanted to see more of what the capabilities was. And one of the things we hadn't figured out how to do, and we still haven't precisely figured out how to do it, really well, is the curved text around the circle with the app that he had. So it was just like, hey. We need the cover anyway, so let's burn one.
I just like the idea of someone in like 20 years' time.
What the hell is that? Liverpool Boats has a canal inspection hatch. Should I pop that open or not? Yeah. No, I had a few different thoughts for ironical things that could be on it, but yeah.
Anyway,
this is what happens when you've got too much time on your hand.
We don't have too much time on our hands. We do not have too much time on our hands. Are you joking me? Anyway, speaking of which, Michael is now going to spend some time measuring the floor plan.
But measuring the floor plan. I'm measuring the boat, trying to create a floor plan.
Okay.
Measuring a floor plan is easy. Somebody just give me an 8x10 sheet of paper with a done floor plan and I'll take measurements.
So we can work out flooring and tiling and goodness knows what else.
Yeah, well, we got flooring, tiling, but we also have I need to know about the plumbing because one of the things that we've had in the tear out of all the stuff, and now that we've gone and done a full big clean out, is we've discovered some places where there was some fairly serious water damage, some places where there's no water damage, but what there is 20-year-old plumbing that isn't in very good shape.
Yeah, and while everything's out, it's the perfect time to move things if we're going to move them.
Move them and upgrade and fix. So like we've got this 20-year-old gray slip fit plumbing, and the modern stuff is the white John Guest slip fit plumbing. Not sure what the real difference is in terms of functionality, but John Guest is the stuff you get today's here in England, and it works really well. That's great. But where you have an interface between the old one and the new one, it doesn't work very good. And I had to stop off a couple of places where I used a John Guest fitting to take the old outmoded plumbing and just cap it off so that it would not, leak.
Yeah.
Then we powered it up, and what did it do? It leaked, and that's
Just
because
it dripped. It didn't flood.
No, but we've got a drip out there. That's not causing water damage because at least we know where that is. But we also have a place where one of our old pressure pump, or possibly the pressure pump that we replaced early on, leaked quite severely near where the fridge was, in a place where we couldn't see it until we took these two panels apart, and those two panels are like rotted out. So part of the reason we couldn't see it was because the pump was installed in a place where it was really hard to service to begin with, in a really weird location.
So we want to make it more accessible for future-proofing for us, or
and we also want to kind of rearrange some of the plumbing in such a way as to make it so we can move the faucet for not the faucet, sorry, faucet isn't the word here, the taps for the shower.
Yeah, because we're switching the taps on the bath.
We're rotating around. So we need to move the plumbing to the other side, which means we need to extend that plumbing and make it accessible so that somebody can service it in the future. So we can't just take it from where it currently is, because that would leave a bunch of these 20-year-old pipes in an unserviceable spot.
And we're also moving the basin, so that's actually shortening the pipes. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's just, the next job is to do the plumbing so that we can then go on to
which
the
is by
next
way
stage.
of, we need a floor plan. We need
Forgot what we were
a
talking about.
plumbing plan alongside the floor plan that allows me to purchase the extra pieces we need to make the connections necessary, and the new pressure pump, if we decide to get one, which we would be moving probably to the front of the boat. We need to decide whether or not we want an accumulator. If we want to use our existing accumulator, which we would have to repressurize, we would need to find a place to put that. It is really big. So
these things are going on all the time. And on top of that, we're thinking about kitchen worktops and kitchen units and wall colours and boxing in and floors and tiles and cookers and fridges and plumbing and electrics and
more things we can do with laser cutters.
So get on with your plan.
Okay.